Welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me. I am a barrister who helps you understand law. So in this video, I wanted to talk about a tiny little bit of the cross-examination of Richard Marx, who, if you recall, was the Hollywood insider and technical forensics analyst giving evidence on behalf of Johnny Depp. In essence, the point of his evidence was that Johnny Depp's reputation was damaged and he was not likely to get further films, and certainly not in the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Richard Marx, if you recall, was the Hollywood insider giving information and giving expert testimony to the extent that Amber Heard's op-ed had seriously damaged Johnny Depp's reputation, such that no studio would want to work with him, and that ultimately his future earning potential and future film casting potential was severely damaged. Now, in this specific section of the cross-examination, Amber Heard's lawyer, Mr. Adam Nadelhaft, wanted to establish that he'd seen no contract for the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie for Johnny Depp. In other words, he wanted to say that whilst this claim was for loss of earnings, there was in fact no contract for such earnings for this next film. As one of the points that he would no doubt go on to make to the jury later, in support of the defence position that Johnny Depp hasn't in fact lost out on this money because there was no contract for it in the first place. And my point to make in respect of this cross-examination is a fairly technical and legal one, which I think you'll find quite interesting. Now, there's a concept we've talked about a number of times on our live streams, which is don't ask one too many questions and don't go too far with your cross-examination. In a cross-examination, you need to get just enough information to be able to make the point that you want to make, either in submissions or to a jury later on. Now, if you listen to this very small portion of this cross-examination, you will hear Mr. Nadelhaft put it to Richard Marx that he had seen no contract for the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And he agreed he had not seen any such contract. Now, he should have left it there, because that would have meant that he's established the point, he'd seen no contract, and this was, at least in large part, what the claim was based on, a loss of earnings in that he wasn't cast in the next movie, even though there was no contract for it, and therefore how could they possibly say that there was this loss of earnings even when there was no contract? But because he pushes the point, he actually undermines and ruins his whole point in his follow-up questions. Have a listen to this clip, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it.
Did not have a contract for Pirates 6, isn't that right?
As far as I know, there is no contract for Pirates 6.
Right, and all the documents you've looked at, you looked at all the documents in this case, and you've not seen a contract for Pirates 6, right?
That's my memory of the documents. There was no contract for Pirates 6.
And in all the documents you looked at, you didn't see a text saying, Mr. Depp got the contract for Pirates 6 for $22.5 million, right?
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled.
I didn't see paperwork on an agreement for Pirates of the Caribbean 6.
So first of all, there is the point at which he should have stopped. He's established that there was no contract. If there's no contract, he can make the point in submissions that how can this claim possibly be supported for $50 million, the loss of $50 million, if there was no contract for Pirates of the Caribbean 6. However, he goes on.
And you don't know one way or the other whether Mr. Depp will be in Pirates of Caribbean 6. You don't have a crystal ball, is that right?
Objection, speculation.
He's an expert.
Allow it. No, go ahead. Overruled. Go ahead. You can answer, sir.
Well, as an expert, of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but as an expert, I think Disney will do everything possible to try to put him back in Pirates, but not under this cloud.
Okay.
So now, not only is there a qualification to what he said, but it's also going to win some kind of favour with the jury in the way that he said it. He said, of course, I don't have a crystal ball. But then he goes on to qualify his answer, which he's permitted to do. He says, as an expert, I think Disney will do everything possible to put him back in Pirates, but not under this cloud. So now suddenly it doesn't matter whether there was a contract or not, because in his expert view, remember, he is saying that Disney would have put him back into the next film, contract or no contract, but not under this cloud, not under these allegations against him, not in the fallout of the op-ed and Amber's claims against him. So therefore, contract or no contract, it doesn't matter. He has, in fact, been given the opportunity to embellish, to reinforce this notion of the claim that Johnny Depp has lost this money, regardless of whether there's a contract or not. He says in his expert opinion, Disney would have done everything they could to put him back in the film. And so that is the perfect example of one question too many in a cross-examination. The whole purpose of a cross-examination is to undermine the evidence, to undermine the witness, to put the case to the witness, so that you can then make submissions either to a judge or to a jury afterwards as to what your client's case is. But now, even if he puts that notion that there was no contract, how can you conclude that he's lost this money when there was no contract? Now the jury have a perfect explanation as to why he could have lost that money, regardless of there being no contract. Because in the expert's view, Disney would have done everything to put him back in the film, but not if these allegations were true. So in effect, he has embellished, with the help of Amber Heard's lawyer, the evidence, his expert evidence as to why the claim should succeed. I hope you found that point interesting. It's one small point, but as always, there are lots of these points that add together and culminate in reasons the jury came to their verdict. So I hope you found that interesting. Please do like the video and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to make sure you get notifications. And as always, thank you for watching.